So I don't necessarily think of the sense of us having an inner child and that we run around with these inner children. My view is that when we're growing up and there's trauma, parts of our consciousness, it's as if they split off and are encapsulated at that time, right? And then don't reach the psychological maturity that we are today. So you know that you're safe and you know that you're okay and so forth, right? And there's this higher self that really knows all of that. But let's say parts of your consciousness are remaining at 2 and then 3.5 and then 5, and that consciousness doesn't know you're okay. And that's also informing you. But it's informing you in a way where sometimes it might get triggered, and then you view the world in that way, and then you feel more fear or more upset or act out in a little bit a way.
That does happen. It really does.
So sometimes these split off parts of our consciousness, there's different ways to access that, but not to think of it as a separate entity, or sometimes it does work and it is helpful to see it as a young part of ourself. And just like a mother would do to a child, if we're in the middle of a horrific event, to say, oh, be quiet, go to your room, you're fine. Oh, stop crying, it's going to be okay, right? It's like, hey, what's going on? What's happening? What are you feeling? What's going on right now? Inquiring and attuning to those parts of yourself, right? Or parts of your consciousness, or parts of yourself that are trying to get your attention, that don't know that the danger is past. I mean, it's still the nervous speaking, the nervous system, body speaking to you. Parts don't know, some of it doesn't know that the danger's over. So we want to communicate, and there's different ways to do that, to that consciousness, to see what's needed. So for instance, at 3.5, what you may have needed more than anything was for someone to come over and put their hand on you and look at you and say, it's okay, I'm here,
And that feels really good, and when people do that, especially in vulnerable moments where they know I might be upset or something, it's incredible how healing it is.
Yeah.
For someone to respond to my upsetness with compassion, it's like instant, the shell just breaks,
So
and there might be a lot of crying or whatever, but it's like the tension just disappears.
Yeah. So then the invitation would be to not just say, okay, this feels great, and then move on, but wow, how does that feel in my body to be without that tension, and to really anchor that experience within you so that becomes a more familiar experience than the tension and the pain and the upset that might be stored. Right? So you're giving yourself these very pleasant experiences that the body can then anchor and become more used to, which allows the body to become a safer place to be, which might allow the next layer, if there's another layer of trauma, to come up, or maybe the emotion to be able to come in, so you can begin to liberate that emotion that got split off, because at the time of the traumatic event, it was too much to feel. So the emotion's gone, parts of your consciousness are split off, and it's exhausting holding that down. So very gently we begin to bring it in piece by piece, not in one big cathartic scream, because that's re-traumatizing, but in a gentle, compassionate, nurturing, sometimes feeling the shakiness. It's like I say, we have to work just beyond the edges of our boundaries of our capacity, right? So there's this dance occurring where we're taking risks to feel a little bit more.
It's like exercising, like lifting weights almost.
Exactly. So we can feel more and more and more. So let's say anger or rage got split off. When you begin to feel those, if they come in, it's not this terrifying experience where you have to whip it out at somebody or it whips back in against yourself, but you begin to transform that energy, that vital life force of anger and rage back into your system, where you become more empowered, upright, and confident, which we were talking about earlier. There you go, in a nutshell. But yeah,